to your question, to ask your question, please. We good video? Coach, right here whenever you're ready, sir.
All right. I'm going to keep it quick because I know y'all got something planned for tonight. Okay? All right, yeah, we didn't do that this week, I can promise you that. Look, I think, first of all, man, just incredible atmosphere today, you know. Doesn't get much better than that. 12 noon kick, 65 degrees, sunshine, and a packed house. I mean, just our fans were incredible, played a major role in the game. And just to see them rally behind our team and players, and certainly for me, our seniors. You know, and I think that this group, you know, I told them in there just now, I said leadership is really hard. You know, it requires a lot from you. And I think these guys have stepped up in a major way. You know, that first month of the year was a challenge in every facet. And I think young people, at that point, they got to decide who they want to be and what they're about. And I think that this group of seniors, there's very specific players in that group. Very grateful for them, you know. And I think we challenged the team. The way that we play today should reflect that group and the courage and the adversity that they've showed. You know, I think the whole message this week was earn the right to win, you know. And I think that we have to earn the right to win throughout the week. And then ultimately when we get to the park, it's not about yesterday. It's not about tomorrow. It's not about who's on the other sideline. You got to spot the ball, and you got to go earn the right to win. And so, you know, I do think that today was special in a lot of regards in terms of Dr. Fox, this being his last game. And I'm thankful for him and his leadership, and certainly for him being a part of the group of people that gave me an opportunity here. So thankful for Dr. Fox. You know, the game was a game of turnover margin, red zone scoring. And ultimately, I think you put those two things together, and it's going to be very difficult to beat. And obviously, the defense was lights out. We played great field position, and we made just enough explosive plays, and we were able to rush the ball against a good front. So, complimentary football in its purest form, and yeah, just really proud of our players and team. What do we got?
You touched on the red zone, but I mean, you stopped a guy who doesn't get stopped very often. You stopped him twice on short yardage there. What have you just seen from that defense and their ability to play in this atmosphere?
Yeah, just, you know, I think that when we were trying to build our team and put our team together, you know, there's an understanding in this league that you got to be really good in the trenches. We all understand that. And really not just this league, but ultimately to be a championship contender and to play consistently every week, you got to be good up front on both sides. So, you know, I thought we were better on both sides today up front. And short yardage defense is a big component. Those are identity plays, you know, and I think we had guys step up and make plays. But again, I mean, I think they had 6 turnovers, if you include the fourth down stops and the missed field goal and a couple picks and the muff punt, right? So we took full advantage of those. Wasn't always pretty on offense. There's certainly some things we can do a little bit better here or there, but, I mean, that's a good group over there. And I thought we managed their front with the way that we played the game.
Coach, I'm Patrice Quittant with 4.0 Sports and Entertainment. On the second play of the game, number 13, Aaron Gates, goes down. Was there an adjustment that you had to make on the defensive end to accommodate for him? Because he had a massive game at Georgia.
Yeah, no, Aaron has been one of our best players the last probably 5 or 6 weeks of the season. Still a young player, but extremely talented. You know, played corner and receiver, punt returner, kick returner in high school. The big adjustment was the kicking game depth chart. You know, he does a lot for us in the kicking game as well. And then now Sharif Denson is playing basically the entire game. So, you know, Sharif's been a rotational player. He and Aaron play equal snaps every week, and then certainly today he got all of the load.
Billy, just talk about Montrell Johnson a little bit, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, coming back, he had been injured the past few weeks and now seemed to be healthy and really just stepped up, especially on senior night.
Yeah, Montrell's a special kid to me for a lot of reasons. He's a class act, first of all, has been since I've first met him. But this is a selfless guy who really sets the tone and the example in that running back room, and I think that we've got young players in there that have been able to transition and play well and be successful, and they're watching him, and I think that he set the example. He sets the standard in that room. So, and look, I'll be honest with you, there, that possession where we threw the shot to Chim and then fed him the ball 3 plays in a row, I told Jabbar, I said, hey, let's get one in there. I think he's feeling it pretty good today. So, and he delivered, I think he had 127 yards today. Is that correct? So 18 carries. Look, the guy just, all he does is produce, He's been doing it. I can remember the first scrimmage we had at Louisiana. He was wearing number 25 back then. I wrote down out there behind the scrimmage, hey, 25's a real guy, right? So he's been toting the rock ever since.
Coach, you've been preaching culture building throughout your first 3 years here, and there's obviously been some impatience, just in terms of immediate on-the-field results. But the last 5 weeks, how does it feel to just see everything coming together in such beautiful fashion? And just what do you think? What would you attribute this breakthrough to?
Well, we got a long way to go. I think obviously we've improved. I think it goes back to what I've told you guys before. I think belief is the most powerful, thing in the world. And I think that at some point there, mid-season, I think we figured out and we started to believe, look, we can play with any team in the country. And we've tried to direct our players' attention to things that require no talent, and convince them, hey, you have the physical ability, but it's got to be about more than that, And I think, you got to dream big, and then you got to have little process, right? So it's about daily. Can you do it daily? Can you be consistent? I think that was the big leadership challenge this week, and hey, let's go do it again. And I think we were able to. The staff did a really good job getting them physically ready, mentally ready, and emotionally ready to go, because it requires a lot to compete at that level in that arena. And I thought that the staff had them ready today.
There's a lot of voices that you've mentioned throughout the season as just potential leaders for this squad. Who would you say has been key in just building the foundation for this program?
Yeah, we got more than. I'm not singling one person out because we got more than I can count. And that's what it takes, And look, not just players. We have, I had them counted up one day. We got about 275 people that contribute to our team, and they all matter. I think we struggled early. It'd be easy for a lot of people, not just players, to maybe not take as much pride in what they do or blame others. I think you got to be solution-oriented. Anybody can talk about problems. Who can work together with other people and come up with solutions, So, there's no substitute for people remaining humble and continuing to take pride in what they do.
Fourth quarter, you really put on your defense. Obviously, late game when you got the lead. What did you see on the field, or what did you see that gave you the confidence they were going to close it out?
Well, I think that we were able to stop the run with a light box. Really, all the running game was quarterback scramble, and for the most part, outside of those 2 explosives in the first half, we stayed on top of them. I thought we had good leverage and coverage, and again, we were able to affect the quarterback. I think we hit him a lot, and then you could see that it was affecting him. And obviously, we've got really good specialists, so the field position portion, So yeah, I just think in general we played complimentary ball, and ended up working out.
Coach, can you talk a little bit on Bryce Thornton's performance today? Had to call game twice. It just seems like he's always popping up in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, Bryce, has been a huge bright spot, stepping up in a major way. Obviously, we've had some injuries there. And look, 2 picks and a career high in tackles. And coming off of an injury, I mean, I see Bryce has been in that training room every day for weeks. And I think he's really stepped up for our team in a major way. And look, Bryce got good experience last year. And I think ultimately he's a very capable player, and he showed out today.
All right. Late in the fourth quarter, Coach, backed up, and you allowed DJ to roll out and throw the out route there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of experienced quarterbacks that don't get the trust from their coach to be able to do that. Just what was the thought process there, and then just his reaction to say, "Hey, we're gonna throw it out of the end zone here."
Yeah, no, I mean, I think backed up offense is about 5 first flip. You got to get 5 yards. You try to get a first down, then you try to get another and flip the field. And sometimes you need to do that, right? So he has made progress. We didn't move him around a lot. He did make some plays with his feet today, but I asked him how he was feeling, and he said, "I'm good." So we went with it, and it was a heck of a catch by Badge, and certainly you don't have to protect, to throw a movement pass. That's one of the best things about it.
Right. And then follow up, guys like Quincy Wilson, Tease Tabor, who were around the last time Ole Miss came to the Swamp. Just what have they meant to being around the team and maybe just showing some guidance to some of the guys, based on playing in the NFL and some of those things?
Well, one of the more impactful things that we've tried to be very intentional about is including our former players. And I think it helps our players because there is a generational gap here in terms of some of those successes from the past. So, I think this place has been to the top of the mountain, and I think it's important for our young people to understand what that looks like. And sometimes meeting young players who've done it and players from the past, I think, helps them. And, the way we want it to work around here is you come here, you finish the race, you get your degree, and you come back and do what those guys are doing. So I'm very thankful. We got some great former players they've made an impact. So those are a couple of them.
Billy, you touched on your opening statement, but outside of this building, not many people gave you guys much of a chance after the first month of the season. But to see the guys work through it, beat 2 ranked teams in a row, and now you guys are bowl eligible, how much fun was it to celebrate in that locker room with those guys and see their hard work pay off?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think, it's not about yesterday, it's not about tomorrow, it's about today, and you got to work extremely hard to get to a place where you have some belief, and I think that belief comes as a result of a lot of integrity, togetherness, discipline, effort, toughness. I think this group has done that. So, challenged the players yesterday to be a today guy, not a someday guy, right? I think sometimes we like to punt it down the road, and say someday I'm going to, rather than, hey, you know what, today I'm going to do that. So just taking action, being present, living in the moment, focusing on the things you can control. I mean, these are said over and over, but I think this group's done it. And, the product speaks for itself. They played their tail off today.
Kind of following up on that, I don't want to go too far back, but September, I mean, it's a pretty low point after those 2 home games, and now you've had consecutive wins against ranked teams here. I mean, I heard what you just said, but is it almost in some ways hard to believe, or is this as gratifying as it is to kind of win a championship in some ways, to be able to turn it around like that?
No, I would just say we're just getting started. I mean, I think this is just part of the big picture journey. And, look, I think for me, I've watched this group. College football is unique. We play 12 regular season games. Maybe you get to play another or 2. But I'm around these guys every day. So, there's behind the scenes, there's a lot that happens and a lot that goes on. And, you know, we go and we put it on full display 12 times a year, right? So I've been saying it the entire time. I just think there's something special about this group. And when the football wasn't right in the beginning of the year, man, it hurt me a little bit, to be honest with you, because I've been watching these guys work, and I'm anticipating us being much improved. So I think I just was consumed with anything and everything that I could do to help them get better. You know, like, how do we fix this, you know, and give them some credit. I mean, they were vocal. They took ownership. You know, they collaborated with the coaches, and I think we chipped away at it. And today, you know, obviously played good enough to win.
You might have touched on DJ to a degree, but those 3 throws where he kind of escaped situations, you got to
Yeah, those
on
are,
him and all kinds of stuff. What about those?
Yeah, those are the plays of the game. I mean, you know, again, say what I said last time. The good Lord bless DJ Lagway. Just pays off to be 6'3 1/4", 240 pounds. You know. So, yeah, those were phenomenal plays. I mean, the guys are draped all over him. He finds the guy, keeps his eyes downfield. So, you know, for the most part, we kept him clean today. You know, we called a game to where their front wasn't able to be a factor to some degree, you know. So I think we did what we needed to do to win, and he was a huge part of that for sure.
You had a moment with everyone today, but last was Graham Mertz. It looked like you were kind of fired up watching him walk out. Just what has Graham meant to you, and what was that moment like to share with him today?
Yeah, man. Graham's one of those on that list. You know, when I say we should be thankful for this group of seniors, he's one of those guys, right? So, look, injuries are a challenge. So one thing I tell you about that guy, he don't flinch, man. He's been the same guy throughout the entire deal. So, and what a, you know, last year, just an inspirational. I mean, these guys know his heart. They know how hard he's worked, and for him not to be able to play is a big deal. But the humility, the class, the selflessness, the way he's handled a situation with DJ, their relationship, his example to the team, his knowledge, you know. I mean, one of the reasons why Two's playing like he is out there is because he got to watch Graham Mertz for 6, 8, 10 months, you know. So I think that relationship has been critical. And we got a lot of examples like that on our team. Montrell Johnson and Jaden Ball, Jacoby is another example of that. So, look, I think in college football, when you get it rolling is when the veteran players are establishing expectations and standards, and young players show up, they get in line, and they do what they see being done, you know. Until you get to that place, you haven't established anything, right? And I think this year was the first time I could say with conviction that we've established that.
Coach, over the last 3 years, we've heard you say, you know, stay the course a bunch of times. Was there a point that you thought that maybe we needed a course correction in here? And at what point did you think we're on the right course? We really have it now and going in the right direction?
Yeah, I mean, I go back to that open date, that first open date. I walked off to that field on that Wednesday. And man, I mean, it's like abuse out there, you know. I mean, it's and I can ignore it. I can kind of control my environment and live life. But for these young people in the digital world they live in, they can't do that. You know, they live a life where they cannot do that. So just to see them, you know, sometimes you get to an open date. I've been on teams where an open date is a disaster, you know, and you're trying to work, you're trying to come up with plans for improvement. But just to see this group, man, they were like, Coach, what are we doing? What do we need to do? You know, and yeah, I mean, just the passion and energy and the way they worked that week in that Wednesday practice, I'll never forget that. I walked off that field, I said, that's the best practice I've ever been associated with in 20 years of college football. So at that point, I'm like, you know, we got to figure this out. So I think Tennessee was a turning point. You know, I think in that locker room after the game, you know, that was when it was like, okay, we can do this. you know, and I think obviously Kentucky, another open date, what we experienced in Jacksonville. You know, I just think hope's powerful, man. And I think, yeah, just proud of these guys, man. It's sometimes you got to go through stuff, you know. I mean, they're different because they went through that, right? They don't really care what anybody thinks, you know. They care what the people around them think. They care about doing their job and being accountable and being responsible to the people around them. And I think what they've been through has forced them to do that, you know. And I can say the same thing. Football's a conditional game, you know. You got to find something that's unconditional. So, pretty good crew. That was fun. That was fun.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Thank y'all.
Bryce Thornton at the podium.
Okay. What did you see on those 2 interceptions late in the game?
I just seen the ball in the air, and I just told myself it's time to go make a play.
The deep ball, I mean, it was a little bit overthrown, but did he kind of get a sense that you had a really good read on it?
Oh, yes. I think it was Shamar James that was in coverage. He played real good coverage underneath. It just gave me time to see the whole picture so I can end up going to make a play.
Bryce, Coach Napier mentioned that he had seen you every week in the training office, you know, kind of working back from injury. What does that amount of time that you put into that kind of mean to you now that it paid off today with a career high in tackles?
Oh, it means everything. Coming off an injury, it was big for me because I never had an injury that put me out. So just trying to stay mentally locked in, and all the coaches and all the players helped me. So it really meant a lot.
Congrats on the win. I want to go back to the Georgia game over in Jacksonville, because that was 2020 against the number 2 team at the time in Georgia. And you came out of there losing that game, but still, did the confidence really start to grow at that point? You know, with DJ being out at that point, who knows what could have happened. But it just seemed like this team has started to roll since then. Do you suspect that as well? And tell me a little about what it has been like this last month.
I feel like the team, I feel like everybody just coming together. I feel like it's the biggest thing with this team, and especially the seniors. They helped a lot with this, like trying to get the team together. Even after the losses, still trying to stay as one. So I feel like after that game, it really like showed everybody like we have glimpses. We're just trying to put on full display.
What exactly have you been dealing with physically, Bryce? And have you ever had a 2-interception game in your life?
I had a little ankle problem, but I'm out there, so I feel good. And I only had 2-interception game one time, sophomore year. So yeah, it's good to bring back memories. Sophomore year? Yes, sir.
Aaron Gates goes out, third play of the game. Just how much did everyone have to kind of step up in the secondary without him? And I'm guessing it was a lot of snaps.
Aaron Gates going down meant really a lot to me. I'm very close with Aaron, so it kind of affected me. And I just thought I got to play for Aaron. So I feel like everybody came together, especially in the back end, and came together and like, we're going to do this for Aaron.
Billy talked about the open date practice and then the Tennessee game, and said those are kind of turning points. Would you talk about how those affected you guys? Because it seems y'all were kind of down in the dumps after the leading up to that open date.
I feel like especially the leaders and the seniors came and brought the team together, and we was like, how we want the season to be. So I feel like that played a big part, and we all said we don't want to go out like this. So I feel like everybody came together, and we started working even harder, and I feel like it's starting to show now.
Amazing game by you and by the defense in general. A lot of progress from the first game up until now. Looking ahead to this next week with FSU, how excited are you guys about this game? How much confidence you guys have going into that game? And what are the expectations that you guys are setting upon yourselves for the end of this season?
I feel like we all even kill. I don't feel like we're going to get too high, too low. I know it's a rivalry game. I feel like we're going to come out there, practice, and do everything we've been doing to be a great defense. So I feel like coming into this game, it's just a rivalry game, but we're gonna show up.
Bryce, when you look at everything that's happened throughout the course of the year, I know we went back to the Georgia game, but even you go back 3 games in and you're 1-2. Talk about the changes with the coaching staff and you know, kind of where you are right now with the different things that they were working on with you guys.
I feel like the coaching staff has changed, but I feel like the players are here. I feel like individually and as a whole, we just all came together and we wanted to change how Florida's being looked at. So I feel like that's the biggest thing with us, just trying to show everybody that we can do it.
What does it say about this defense? I mean, you know, obviously Ole Miss came in, you know, number 1 offensive team. They got 456 yards in this game, but you guys kind of bent but didn't break the whole game.
Mm-hmm. I feel like this defense, everybody plays a part. The D-line had a great game. I feel like they helped, especially the back end, contain, make him throw, especially for my pick, difficult throws. And I feel like the linebackers played a big part in my picks also. Just giving him having to overthrow the ball, and then the DBs, we always going to be together. So I feel like just the whole, we always coming together.
How much fun has it been the last 2 weeks to come into the locker room after beating ranked teams?
Oh, it feels great. And I feel like we should be ranked. So we're going to keep performing, and I feel like everybody going to see how Florida's supposed to be.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, guys, joined by DJ Lagway. We'll start with that 3 times this year, right?
Yeah, DJ, what's it just mean for you guys to have been able to kind of stay the course this season and to get to this point? Because it was a rough September, and now you guys are really finding your stride.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, the September was very rough during then, but you know, we persevered and we continue to work and just continue to trust in what Coach Napier was preaching to us. And I feel like all of our hard work is starting to pay off now.
Well, what is it about Billy that he's able to kind of keep you guys going forward?
He's just it's something about Coach Nate, man. He's a different guy, and he's just amazing just to follow and just to see how he leads and just through the good, through the bad, and through the ugly. He's gonna be the same, and that's all you can respect. And I love Coach Nate. Yeah.
Go to Kevin right to
DJ, defense held them, I think, 3 points in the second half.
Yep.
Just their ability to close out the game, what that meant to you guys in the offense, and them continuing to get stops in the red zone.
Man, it was amazing. Defense came to play. And I feel like all of our special teams, offense and defense, everybody just came to play, and it was a great team win. Everybody did their job, and it was just amazing.
Go to Andy right to the left again.
DJ, when did you feel this starting to turn this season?
Say it again?
When did you feel it starting to turn, where things were not going well and then things started to work?
I'd really say Mississippi State, and then after our bye week, we kind of had a mentality that we can compete with anybody, and it's us against the world, and we're gonna go out there and battle and compete every single day.
Go to Jack to the left.
Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the connection between you and Elijah Badger, but just like seeing it translate against a top 10 team of all people, just like what do you think sets you and him as a duo apart from just like the rest of the competition?
I'll just say I feel like the chemistry with all of my receivers. I feel like I have a great chemistry with everybody. I feel like I know them individually, and just having that relationship off the field, I feel like that plays a big part. And me and Badge been connecting a lot recently, man. He's been making a lot of heck of a plays for me, and it's just great to have a senior veteran like him to help me on and off the field. So it's been great.
And then obviously, you mentioned having the connection with all your receivers. Just being a centerpiece of this team so early in your career, it's a daunting task, but you've very clearly handled it well. Just what do you think has allowed you to succeed to this point, and how do you look to keep building on it going forward?
Yeah, really nothing but God, man. God has been leading me throughout this whole journey, through my whole journey, and just playing football. It's just a blessing to have, just amazing teammates, amazing coaches around me, and just to develop me. And it's been amazing just to see how everybody rallies behind me, and it's just truly a blessing.
Go to Noah, third row.
Gotcha.
Right in front.
DJ, just talk about Montreal getting him back in the backfield today, and just what that was like, especially for him on senior game experience, and just having that veteran leadership back there, especially when you guys are trying to take the lead.
Yeah, it's always great to have number one in the backfield with me, man. Number one, he's been a great leader since day one, since I stepped on campus, and it's just awesome to be back there in the backfield with him, man. He's a heck of a player. He makes a lot of good plays, picks up protections very well, and I think he's leading the young guys in the same direction. So it's just great to have a player like Montreal Johnson.
And then on the, I know you were asked about the receivers before, and on the note of the seniors, just talk about, DK, Elijah, and just how this season, especially coming in your first year starting, you were able to rely on those guys, to help make your job a lot easier.
Yeah, those guys been great, resources on and off the field. Like I said, they're great leaders. They have their different styles of leadership, but they definitely are great leaders, and I appreciate those guys for real.
Yeah, I was going to ask you one more. I mean, back in Willis, you were kind of a man among boys, but how do you explain being able to throw passes with people hanging all over you? I mean, you had 3 or 4 great escapes today. Is that just, how do you keep your head in those situations?
We practice situations like this every day. Believe it or not, we do ball security. We do pocket movements every single day. And every period, off period that we have, any special team periods, we're doing ball security drills and pocket movement stuff. So I just say from the development of my Coach O'Hara, Coach Napier, and just the plan that they have, we prepare. And those situations that I've seen out there on Saturday hasn't been the first time I've practiced those situations. So I just say the preparation from those guys has been amazing.
We'll go to Zach Alberti. Someone give him one.
DJ, I don't know if you've been asked about this yet this year, but how often do you hear the DJ Lagway chants, and what does that do for you?
You know, to be honest, it's such a team sport. You know, I really don't pay attention to that, man. It's all about the Gators, man. You know, no player is bigger than the program, than the brand. So that's how I see it. And, you know, just having my guys rally behind me, you know, even some of my teammates make jokes about it because they know I don't really care about that type of stuff. But, you know, it's a blessing. But like I said, man, it's Gators football over everything, man. Nobody's bigger than the brand. So, yeah.
On that note, Lane Kiffin talked this week about the Lagway effect and how this team just plays differently when you're behind center. How much have you felt that the last 2 weeks since you returned?
I feel it a lot, man. That's why I'm so thankful to have a group of guys around me that trust in me and believe in me since day one, you know, that they're going to have my back through the good, through the bad, and the ugly, you know. And that's all you can ask for, especially at the quarterback position when you're dependent on a lot of other guys to make plays for you and to protect you and to get the ball back for you. So it's just truly a blessing to have such amazing teammates.
Congrats on the victory, DJ. You know, last week you talked about the offensive line and how they kept you up and no sacks. Today, you got caught a few times. I know you've probably gotten away from worrying about what will happen if you get sacked, but could you talk about just getting up after each of those sacks and on the offensive line itself today? I know that this team was Ole Miss was a much better defensive line in that regard.
You know, my offensive line battled their butts off, man, and I'm so thankful for those guys, man. They come every day willing to work, and, you know, we always communicate about little things that we're seeing protection-wise. And just really just having those guys, man, just around me, and I know they're going to give me their all, and I'm going to give them my all. And those guys are just tremendous. I couldn't ask for a better front five, man, seriously.
Kevin, right in front.
Yeah, we saw you scramble a bit too today, and I know you didn't really run much at all last week. I mean, is that a sign you're feeling better physically, or where are you at right now, you think?
Yes, sir. You know, I'm feeling better each week. You know, I didn't have any setbacks during the game, so I'm just continuing to get better and continue the recovery process. So it's good, yeah.
Go to Franz right to your left.
It was senior day for Graham Mertz.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk about the relationship you've had and what that has meant to you in getting you to this point?
Man, Graham means everything to me. He's like a big brother to me. You know, he's taught me the ropes, man. Since I got here in January, you know, it was never no egos in it, none of that. It's always just been him just mentoring me and him leading me and just teaching me how to be a professional, especially at this level. So it's been amazing to have Graham.
Third row to your left.
You talked on the defensive performance kind of at the beginning of this, but what was it like seeing from the sidelines Bryce Thornton's back-to-back picks, calling game twice for the win today?
Man, it was great, man, just seeing how those guys work each and every day. And, you know, in the beginning of the season, they were getting a little, you know, talk back, you know, and stuff about them. But they came every single day and battled and worked, you know, and persevered. You know, people had to step up and play big roles due to injuries, but I feel like everybody continued to get better this year. And I'm just thankful to have those guys on the other side, you know, just working against them every single day is getting me better and developing me. So it's been great.
All right. Appreciate it, DJ.
Appreciate you. Thank you. All righty. Have a good one.